Let me be real with you. My life was a mess. Goals, unmet. Plans, abandoned. Every new year I swore, this is my year. But by March, chaos, and by December, I'd be drowning in guilt, wishing I'd started something earlier. This happened every single year. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Everything changed for me last year. I hit rock bottom and finally decided to change everything altogether. Of course, it didn't happen overnight. It was a process, but slowly, I started moving forward again. And if I can do it, trust me, you can too. So, if you're tired of the cycle and ready to take back control of your life, let's get started. So what exactly did I do to transform my life? Keep watching until the end, because the last step might be the one you need to truly change your life. Step 1. Start with a brutally honest life audit. Here's the first thing I do: confront the mess. It wasn't fun, but it was necessary. The life audit is a simple yet powerful way to figure out where you stand and where you're falling apart. You can't fix anything if you don't know what's broken. So now sit tightly, grab a notebook, your favorite app, or even a napkin to write it down. Divide your life into categories. Health, ask yourself, how's your physical, mental, and emotional well-being? Are you sleeping enough, moving your body, or constantly stressed? Finances, are you earning enough, managing your expenses, or drowning in debt? Career, work, do you feel fulfilled in your job? Are you learning and growing, or just clocking in and out? Relationships, are your connections nurturing, or do they feel draining? Are you showing up for the people who matter? Personal growth, what are you doing for you? Are you pursuing hobbies, learning new skills, or taking time for self-care? Any personal goal you want to achieve? Write it. Now evaluate each area honestly. Score each category from 1 to 10. No judgment, no sugarcoating. Write down what's working and where things are falling apart. For example, health, 4 out of 10, barely exercising, eating junk, and always tired. Finances, 6 out of 10. I'm paying my bills on time, but I have no emergency savings, and my credit card balance keeps growing. Career work, 5 out of 10. Always feeling stressed out whenever had to go to office. Relationships, 7 out of 10. Solid friendships, but neglecting family time. Personal growth, 2 out of 10 have a lot of plan, but nothing have been done yet. Okay, we're done. Now what should we do next? Step 2, identify your most critical area. All right, so you've done the life audit. Now what? You can't fix everything at once. That's just a recipe for burnout. Instead, take a step back and ask yourself, what's the one area of my life that's messing things up the most right now? If I improved this, would it make other things better too? For example, if you're constantly exhausted because your health is in the dumps, that's probably why your work performance sucks, your relationships feel strained, and you're not enjoying life. Fixing your health first might give you the energy to tackle everything else. Or maybe it's your finances. If you're stressed about money 24/7, focusing on that might free up your mental bandwidth for other things. Step 3, setting micro goals, not big dreams. Once you've pinpointed the areas in need of improvement, the next step is action. Here's a trap I fell into every year: setting massive, unrealistic goals. Lose 30 pounds in 2 months. Save $10,000 by summer. Guess what? I failed every time. Why? Because I skipped the small wins. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. Instead, focus on small, manageable steps that build momentum. For example, if you want to improve your health, start with something simple yet impactful. Instead of "I'll run a marathon," start with "I'll jog for 10 minutes 3 times a week." 10 minutes doesn't feel impossible, and once you've started, it's easier to keep going. These tiny adjustments might seem insignificant at first, but they create a ripple effect. Consistency over time transforms these small changes into powerful habits that stick. The same principle applies to other areas. If your career satisfaction is low, don't quit your job tomorrow. Instead, spend 10 minutes a day exploring new skills or updating your resume. If your relationships need work, start by sending a thoughtful text or scheduling a coffee date. By breaking down improvements into bite-sized, actionable steps, you make change less overwhelming and more attainable. Progress, no matter how small, fuels motivation, and that motivation can lead to the big transformations. Step 4, fix your environment. Your environment is either working for you or against you, and most of us don't even realize it. Think about it. If your workspace is cluttered, how can you focus? If your kitchen is full of junk food, how can you make healthy choices? Here's what I did to fix mine, and it made a huge difference. Declutter. Start small. Pick one area: your desk, your closet, or your car. Toss out or donate anything you don't use or love. Clutter isn't just physical, it clutters your mind too. If you don't know what to do, I have a rule. If you haven't used an item in the past month, move it to a test zone, like a closet or storage bin. If it stays untouched for 6 months and isn't seasonal or sentimental, donate or recycle it. For sentimental items, store them in a memory box. Reassess their importance annually. Apply this rule, and you won't have to overthink it. Organize. Make things functional. Put your most used items in easy-to-reach places. Add positive cues. Your environment should remind you of your goals. For example, leave a water bottle on your desk to encourage hydration. Keep workout gear visible so it's easier to grab and go. And you don't have to do it all at once. Start with a 10-minute timer. Focus on one drawer or corner. Repeat this daily for a week. By the end, you'll see significant progress. Step 5. Journaling. This is one of the practices that had the biggest impact on my life. Why? Honestly, one of the hardest things about trying to change your life for the better is consistency. Consistency comes after you start taking action, and we usually start taking action when we feel motivated. Successful people might say, motivation is overrated. Just start with something small. Small actions will eventually lead to big changes. And while that's true, not everyone has the kind of strong motivation to keep going, even for small things. Sometimes we just feel too lazy. That's where journaling changed things for me. The key is to write it down. Sometimes we lose motivation because we feel like we're not making any progress. 2 weeks after the new year, and we've already forgotten what we've accomplished. Then, guilt sets in, and we start to feel anxious about the future. But in reality, maybe within those 2 weeks, you've done some productive things. You just forgot because they seemed so small. So, from now on, start keeping a journal. It doesn't have to be a full diary of everything you've done during the day. Just jot down your progress for that day, even if it's short and simple. For example, today I ran 100 meters. That's it. Don't overthink it. Then tomorrow, when you run 200 meters, write it down again. This small habit will remind you of your progress, no matter how minor it may seem. Over time, these little notes will become evidence of how far you've come, and that will fuel your motivation to keep going. Last but not least, step 6, celebrate the small wins. Finally, let's talk about celebrating progress. This might seem small, but it's actually a big deal. Most of us focus so much on what we haven't achieved that we forget to acknowledge what we have accomplished, and that's a surefire way to burn out. So, there's absolutely nothing wrong with celebrating your small wins. For example, here's what I do. Every time I hit a small milestone, I reward myself. When I saved $100, I treated myself to a nice coffee. When I stuck to my workout routine for a month, I bought myself new workout gear. These little rewards keep me motivated and remind me that progress, no matter how small, deserves to be celebrated. Here you go, folks. Unfucking your life isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about taking control one choice at a time. Remember, every small step you take today is a brick in the foundation of the life you want to build. So, are you ready to start? Drop a comment with the first area of your life you're going to audit. Let's hold each other accountable and make 2025 the year we finally get it right. Subscribe for more tips, and I'll see you in the next video.